Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Kyle Bauer catches up with Kansas Governor Sam Brownback, who discusses his appreciation for the ag industry. Next, enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. And then Kyle is back with John Floros, Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University. Next, you'll meet a cattle producer committed to the highest quality beef possible. And we'll end our show with Kyle Bauer and Duane Toews and this week's Plain Talk segment.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Kyle Bauer and Governor Sam Brownback as they discuss the worldwide importance.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with the governor of the state of Kansas, Sam Brownback. Sam has been a strong advocate for agriculture his entire career. Governor, why is that?
Yeah, part of it's just being raised on a farm. A lot of it is recognizing just the beauty of this industry and its importance globally. I mean, you can go back in history and see that we've been supplying wheat and cattle and food products to people around the world for basically as long as we've been in industry. And what a great calling to be a part of that. It's hard to imagine a better industry to be a centerpiece of than Kansas is to the global needs of food.
And certainly that industry continues to grow.
It does. Even in these down market time periods, you're seeing the industry grow, and you're seeing the industry try to figure out, okay, how do we reinvent ourselves? And each time, you've got more and more pressures, whether it's from environmentalists saying you can't use this, you got to do that, from the consumer saying I want this, I don't want that, and the industry each time just saying, okay, how do we respond? How do we move it forward? And continuing to grow. We've got great growth taking place, for instance, in dairy. We've got the largest single-build dairy processing plant in the country going up in Garden City. We've got chances to have things like the American Royal in Kansas, and then build an agricultural genetics complex around. Then the NBAF facility being built here. That's $1.2 billion of the most unusual facility in the world. There won't be another one like it where you can research on these zoonotic diseases that go from animals to people. And we think we can build further the animal health corridor around that. So there's just a dynamic industry full of really good people that work well together, and this thing's going to continue to grow.
Kansas is known as an ag-friendly state, all the way from clean water and clean air down to transportation issues. Why do we stand out in that direction? Do we just understand it?
I think we love it, and that we know that if you're going to grow this space, there are other people that can grow it too. So you got to take care of it. You got to tend to it. You got to make sure that those pieces are in place for it to be able to grow and prosper, even when you have down times. So our prices are terrible. But you don't give up on the industry. That's just when you say, okay, what else can we do to see this business grow? And things too, like ethanol, that had a lot of controversy for quite a period of time. Our price of corn now might be half what it is if we didn't have ethanol, right now taking up a third of the corn crop.
Truly, as we look off into the future, Kansas continues to grow, and a lot of that because we're in the central part of the nation, a good place to ship products out from.
Well, you got to be competitive on that. In any commodity business, you've got to be competitive on your shipping prices of it, and that's one of the key features for us. One of the things we got to look at as increasingly down the road is water. We just had a great, I think, agreement come together on the Republican River Basin so that we can have accessible water in that agreement and litigation we've been through with Nebraska and Colorado, but we've got to do that in the Ogallala, we've got to do that in these reservoirs that supply so much of our water. To me, long term, that's been one of the key pieces that we've really got to get right.
We're visiting with the governor of the state of Kansas. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Marvin Anliker, president of the Kansas Ag Bankers Division of the Kansas Bankers Association, is joining us. And Marvin, in this agricultural downturn, very challenging times, but ag bankers can be a big help during this time.
Well, we most certainly can. They are challenging times, but in agriculture today, there's been a lot of good times, and a lot of producers have built a lot of equity and balance sheets that we have a lot of things to work with for them.
And one of the biggest things for a producer, if there's any advice, is don't procrastinate.
Without a doubt, one of the biggest obstacles is if you know you have a problem is to avoid it, not do anything about it. The best thing to do is communicate early and often with your banker. The longer you wait, the worse the situation will get.
So let's say you've got some of your plans together as far as budget and expenses, insurance, production plan as well. Would it be best to go to your banker to look at that strategy and to lay everything out?
If you have a plan put together, that is the first place to start. Go to your banker with a plan. And if you need help with that, go to him with that as well. But communication is key. Go see your banker, sit down with a budget. That's where it all starts. Figure out where you're at and what you're facing, and build from there.
Because there may be advice in there, such as restructuring debt or some other things. It really is to help that producer in the long run.
You know, every banker's goal is to see his customers succeed, and there are many ways to handle that. In downturns like this, one of the tools is a restructure if there's good equity to work with. If cash flow is not working, a restructured debt, stretching it out over a longer period of time, will reduce the cash flow requirements and put the operation in a position to make it through the downturn. The goal is to come out the other side and be able to still be around and be in business when things turn around and we get to experience the good times again.
Being a farmer and rancher is hard, but that also means working with your family to kind of take away some of that stress or to de-stress.
That is a very good point to bring up, because a lot of times this can become a very emotional time, and if you don't take time to step away from it, de-stress, spend some family time, and put things in perspective, it can become overwhelming. And when you're completely stressed, overwhelmed with the situation, we don't make good business decisions in those kind of conditions. So it's good to step away, reflect, put things in perspective, and try to always make your decisions based on objectivity rather than emotion.
Marvin Anliker, president of the Kansas Ag Bankers Division of the Kansas Bankers Association, has been our guest on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more from Kyle Bauer.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Visit our picturesque town on the Santa Fe Trail for the Council Grove Fall Festival featuring the Voices of the Wind People pageant on the banks of the Neosho River, September 16 and 17.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
We're back with Kyle Bauer and John Floros for an update on the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with the Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University, John Floros. Dean, can you give us kind of an up-to-date on the College of Agriculture at Kansas State?
So for the last 4 or 5 years, we've had the highest enrollment in terms of students, both undergraduate and graduate students in the college. What's even more impressive is that the quality of teaching that we do and the type of students that we produce now. So there's a lot of really good things that are happening within the College of Agriculture in terms of research, which connects directly to how we train our students, because we use our research to train our students better. In terms of research, we have grown tremendously and we continue to grow. 4 or 5 years ago, our faculty and our staff, they were competing for grants and contracts, and we were bringing in somewhere between $20 to $25 million. This last year, we brought in almost $60 million. That's a 150% increase in just 4 years. This is a phenomenal growth. And the reason for that is because we have hired really good people. We have managed to keep our good faculty and our good staff, and they go out there and they compete very well. We've put them in groups, so we submit larger grants. We have focused our research in a few areas, and those few areas is animal agriculture. And with NBAF coming to town, this will be, another really area for us to expand. Beef, dairy, swine nutrition, everything that pertains to animal agriculture, we put emphasis in. Crops, particularly the crops that are very important to Kansas, wheat and sorghum, we do a lot of work in those areas, from genetics and genomics all the way to new varietal development, and how we take that through our extension efforts, and we take it to the farmers, and we connect directly with the people that will use some of those varieties. Water is another area that we have a lot of expertise, and we've competed very well for external funding. We support the governor's vision on water. We've done a lot of really interesting things with KDA, and in terms of water, our efforts are really towards better quality and preservation of our natural resources and water resources, particularly the Ogallala aquifer. So we're working on different irrigation techniques. We are working different types of crops that we can use that use much less water. We work with cover crops, with rotations, and so on and so forth. The other area of expertise that we have is food safety and the value-added component of agriculture. So we have a lot of emphasis on grain science, for example, emphasis on food science, emphasis on meat science and dairy science. All of that combined with the ability that we have to do very unique work when it comes to the safety of our food supply make us one of the probably the world's best destinations to come to really learn, do research, and really understand how the whole global food system works.
We're visiting with Dean of the College of Agriculture at Kansas State University, John Floros. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this break.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at kfrm.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now meet a cattle producer committed to quality.
Brian Ratsburg started out as a commercial Angus rancher. That set his course when he decided to get into the registered business.
We run quite a few commercial cows, and then part of our program is we want consistency, phenotypically and genotypically. And I put a lot of emphasis on the maternal side too because of my commercial cow herd. And I think you can see it when you come through and see the bred females we offer for sale. There's it's pretty large groups, and they're pretty consistent all the way through. Very feminine, a lot of capacity in their body, and develop into nice mature cows.
But as times changed, the producer began to add to those selection criteria.
We were strongly emphasizing our maternal side, and now we're starting to really pay attention to our carcass traits. We know it's very important because we sell a lot of commercial steers every year.
Ratsburg won't buy a herd sire unless it's backed by genomic data. It's one way to ensure accuracy and parentage.
There's too many benefits for us and too many risks if we buy one without the 50 cases. You can buy one and the numbers will change on you. If they don't have the 50K and you buy one and you send it in, you may not have what you thought you had, or you may have more than what you thought you had. It's just a gamble that way. So we like to pay attention to those things.
He chose the Angus breed because of its versatility and adaptability to his northern Montana climate.
They're functional cattle. They live in a harsh environment up here. We can go from 100 degrees in the summertime to I've seen it as cold as 90 below wind chills up here. And they survive, they reproduce, and they give us a good product in the end.
I'm Bob Cervera.
Stay with us for this week's Plain Talk episode. That's coming up next here on Farm Factor.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
There's a lot of different ways of doing this woodwork, but all of it still takes both hands.
He had been told that by the orthopedic specialist in Enid, Oklahoma, that they would have to fuse his thumb.
And I said, no, cut it off, because I didn't want it sticking up. And I found out about the Kansas regenerative stem cell and went to Manhattan.
We were so impressed with how royally we were treated the first time we came to Kansas Regenerative.
We came in and he took out the stem cells. It took about an hour for him to process them before they put him back in my knees and my thumb. And we were out of here in about 4 hours and on our way back home. And I'm in here today to have my shoulders, my hips, and my back done. So I'll be able to go back to my sawmill, my shop, and do about anything I want to do.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Now we'll hear from Kyle Bauer and Duane Toews on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the Duane Toews.
It is. I am here in person and present.
President.
With your fact or fiction question of the day,
Yes.
Kyle Bauer. The bolt of lightning relative to the sun 6 times hotter. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that can't be. To the surface of the sun?
Bolt of lightning.
I will tell you,
6
this
times hotter.
morning, there was one must have hit the deck on my house about 5:45.
Rattle and bang things around the window?
Oh, my gosh. Well, that rattling, banging was just me bouncing off the walls. Holy smokes, that thing was close.
Yeah.
You know, the sound got there before the flash.
That's not
Yeah,
good.
that's, yeah.
Can't really even happen.
That can't be right. I'm going to go with fiction.
It says it's true.
Ah.
I don't know how you would measure the temperature of a bolt of lightning. Just like, what are you going to do? Stand
Well,
up
you
there
want
with
to
a
have an
thermometer?
assistant.
Yeah. We're going to have Bob
college,
hold
college intern.
College intern.
Yeah.
Bob, please hold the thermometer in that lightning storm.
Now stand out in the field with it above your
with
head.
a metal rod.
Yeah.
Do not do this at
By the
home.
way, do not take this as suggestions.
No.
Right. If you do,
by no means.
Darwin is absolutely needed to kick in.
Possibly.
Accrued net farm income.
Accrued.
Accrued. Not crude.
So you're talking an accounting term.
Yeah, okay, just net farm income.
Thanks.
Yeah, there you go.
Make it easy for me.
Net farm income. The last few years, everybody knows, has been good. Okay, until 2015.
Yeah.
And by the way, these numbers are collected by the
USDA NAS?
I don't think so. I think
No?
it's the Kansas State Farm Management Group, isn't it?
Oh, what? I don't know what numbers you have, but they do collect numbers.
I have
of their members.
$4,568.
That's what you have?
Yes.
Why?
Well, that's what I thought they had too. No, it's written on this paper.
Oh.
So it must be right.
That's what the average is?
Yes.
For Kansas.
For Kansas. Right.
All right.
Excellent. Yeah, average for all of Kansas farms.
Okay.
And NAS could not have generated 2015 yet. I'm sure that's where they come. By the way, the year before, 128,000.
Oh.
Year before that, 140,000. Now, by the way, I'm going to remind everybody, though, this is also, in most cases, the income that family lives out of.
Sure.
So last year they lived out of $4,568.
Yeah, that's
they didn't do that.
No.
Right. So they went backwards. The highest year is 2011 at 166, but it had grown precipitously. You're surprised I could even use that word.
That's a big word.
It is.
And you used it appropriately.
Thank you.
I'm so proud.
From 2006 on, it grew precipitously.
rapid rate.
2008 was a tough year nationwide.
Because
not on the
of?
farm. Well, that was the
year
the big recession.
Recession.
But not on the farm.
We didn't find that in farm country.
No.
We didn't know how to spell recession.
Had we not gotten national news out in the farm country, we wouldn't have even known there was a recession.
Right.
So, and it did spill over because it kept interest rates low, which was
beneficial.
Good for farmers, and therefore it brought up their farm income as well.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.